He hasn't lost anything, but he managed to kill 2 ghouls. So in this little mini skirmish here, he did a good job. I think the Undead realized that with the Death Knight out, he has to retreat, and he should have sent 1 or 2 ghouls back should I tech to tier 3. That's really angering me right now. I think Orange realizes this. He's going to have pretty late destroyers, and notice that he's putting up a blacksmith. If you think he's going mass tanks, you're wrong, because nobody goes mass tanks without an expansion, or at least without a fast tech, because then you'll have some resources saved up. So if you're trying to do mass tanks without an expansion, then stop trying to do that. It's not going to be successful. You need an expansion to keep mass tanks up, which is still a viable strategy. I do it all the time, but Undead player has mana, had some mana. He coiled that footman, picked him off. Good play. He sent his ghouls back finally, so now he can tech to tier 3 in a couple seconds. Except he decided it was more important to get a Crypt Fiend, so I guess he's not going to tech just yet, which really angers me. Now he set up an Arcane Sanctum. Sorry, they look the exact same when they're not finished building. When they're in the process of being built, they look like the exact same. Built 1 Arcane Sanctum, and if you think he's going Mass Breakers, you're wrong. So, take a look at that Barracks Rifleman. When was the last time you guys saw those used against Undead? Yeah, that's what I thought. He's going to go Mass Riflecaster. That is not a joke. He's actually going to do Mass Riflecaster, and he's going to win against an opponent of equal skill level. Pretty damn impressive, huh? I don't know why he got a Crypt Fiend. That was a waste of lumber when he could be teching to tier 3. Just started that Black Citadel tech after being tier 2 for like an hour with not even producing anything. This makes me very upset, and that probably loses the game for the Undead player here, because you can't get Destroyers fast enough to cancel out the amount of Riflemen that Orange has. Alright, and this pisses me off. 40 food against... Okay, it's about equal food. You should have microed those Riflemen back, because they can't really do much at this point until the Undead player gets Destroyers or something. He gets the Mana Potion out, brings the Mountain King back. This is a bad move. If you ever notice that the Undead player has mana, don't bring a 250 HP Mountain King back into the battle and keep him there. You want to like do a hit and run coil if he has any mana, but this cost him his Mountain King. Not that huge of a deal because it was level 1, but it's a nuisance. You're giving him a lot of XP, and you have to revive him 170 gold. I mean, when it's avoidable 170 gold. He got that Lich pretty weak, but I don't think he's not gonna kill it. So the Undead player here is just harassing, kept his ghouls. He's keeping his ghouls on lumber, thank God, because that really angers me when I see an Undead player at tier 2 for 20 minutes. Well, not 20 minutes, obviously, the game's only 10 minutes long, but there's only been 10 minutes in the game so far, but he... Oh, well, the Archmage is level 3 now, it's good. This is a huge mistake. Don't ever do this, Undead players. If you're gonna harass, leave a ghoul or 2 on lumber, so you can at least get the tier 3 tech. Sorry about that. So you can at least get the tier 3 tech, because if you don't get that tier 3 tech, you're going to be screwed, because Undead doesn't really have much of a tier 2. So, notice he's still at a keep. I don't think the human player is ever going to tech to tier 3 in this game. He's going to set up an expansion pretty soon. I don't know when, but again, it's not a fast expansion, so don't tell me, oh, you got an expansion, you got a fast expansion, that's why you won. It's not fast, it's 11 minutes into the game. A fast expansion is like 3 or 4 minutes into the game. So don't tell me it's a fast expansion. This is a really good play. He gets 1 Spellbreaker. That doesn't count as mass Spellbreakers. He's got way more Riflemen than he has or he will have way more. He's just going to creep here. Good move. Try to get that Mountain King up to higher levels. He doesn't have much to actually annoy the Undead player with at this point. So he's just going to creep up. Good idea. Creep up against Undead players until you get a pretty significant force. You don't want to play aggressively against Undead players if you know you can't really do much. In the previous game, he had a very significant advantage due to the fact that the Death Knight couldn't really do much against that harass. He couldn't protect. They both had level 3 heroes, I believe, but he couldn't do much against the harass because the Death Knight was so weak. Death Knight's not weak right now, so he can easily fend off an Archmage harass. Just constantly coil along with the Lich. He has a Lich now too. I believe that Archmage is going to go down. Very stupid way to get it surrounded. No, you can tell he uses that Town Portal, but not before taking out... Let's see if he can take out the third one. Yeah, he takes out the third one. Not before taking out 3 ghouls, he Town Portals, which is a pretty good trade, 360 to 350, but you also have to keep in mind that the Archmage also used that potion, so in the end, I guess that is... I guess it's about even, because Town Portals and potions don't give experience, so he's got some experience. It's about an even trade. So I guess he's gonna come here. I don't know what the undead player's doing. I guess I know what the human player's doing. He's trying to pick off some ghouls that are slowed. I don't know what the undead player's doing. He's running around in circles right now. Again, the fact that he did such a late tier 3 tech is gonna really hurt him. I don't even know why he got that one Crypt Fiend. That was a useless move when you should have just teched. Because Crypt Fiends are not a priority when you're playing human that isn't going Mass Dragonhawks, okay? So keep that in mind. You don't need Crypt Fiends against human unless you're doing like a Crypt Fiend Banshee strategy, or unless he's getting a lot of Dragonhawks or a lot of Griffins. He has Riflemen and Footmen. Why would you go Crypt Fiends? Don't go Crypt Fiends. It was a useless idea, especially when you could use that 40 lumber to tech faster rather than getting a useless unit. So here comes the human player. He's gonna set up that expansion. If you notice, he has 5 militia there, just turning into peasants. He's gonna power build an expansion while he's dealing with this attack from Teal. And at this point, he's gonna win this battle. It's 54 to 46, 8 food advantage. It's pretty significant. But also, he has units that can counter the undead players. You've got riflemen for those destroyers, and he doesn't really have much else besides the 2 destroyers and a bunch of skeletons. There's a priest there, but yeah, he's just initiate, so he can't dispel the skeletons. Death Knight's gonna go down. Yeah, Death Knight dies. So again, this is gonna play to the human's advantage very much. He pretty much killed the entire undead's army. It's 47 to 23, so he killed quite a lot because he had the right units to counter the undead players. Why he got destroyers after? Oh yeah, because this is an important thing to note. The human player did something really smart here. He got 1 or 2 sorceresses just to confuse the undead player. He got 1 or 2 sorceresses. The undead player thinks, uh-oh, he's going mass sorceresses. I'm going to need to get destroyers. He doesn't get mass sorceresses. He gets 1 or 2 just to make him go destroyers. Then he takes those destroyers out with the riflemen. Destroyers are pretty much useless against the army composition that Orange has right now, because I believe he did turn off. He has 1 sorceress left. Believe he only trained 2 in the beginning, and he turned off autocast. Well, that would be a smart thing to do, turn off autocast. Whereas the Spellbreaker, he has 1 Spellbreaker. Well, that's not really that useful at the moment. But he's got Riflemen to take out those destroyers. And I believe at one point, Teal does realize that he's not going for like a mass caster army. So he does start building Abominations, but it's too late. If he started building Abominations immediately, then he might have something going for him. You know, he could, along with a Crypt Lord for mass area of effect, AoE, he could have had something going for him. He could have saved this game. But really, if you ever see, for any undead players, if you ever see Riflemen, don't get destroyers. Even if he's getting a sorceress, get like 1 destroyer. If for a mass caster, a rifle caster army, you don't want to get more than 2 destroyers for that slow. The expansion's gone up now, and now the humans had a huge advantage. It's 50 food to 42. It's still got that 8 food advantage, very useful. Plus the Death Knight's not back yet. And he doesn't have anything but those destroyers, which are not going to help him. So, the undead player looks pretty clueless on what to do against this rifle caster army. It's a very old strategy. I don't think I've seen it since like 1.18 probably. Very old strategy. Effective when you know